what we're going to do is demonstrate the full capabilities of what we're working with here, as far as being able to make very quick adjustments or adaptations to campaign data on the fly. Often, changing over to make amendments to your campaigns or make decisions is context shifting. You're taking your time away from whatever else you're focusing on and logging into LinkedIn, going over to wherever your ad campaigns live and making analysis and adjustments there. And it doesn't need to be that way. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Bennett, to show what we're talking about, and then we can conclude.
Okay. Yeah. So to me, it seems like an extension, right? So we talked about how we were bringing it into Google Sheets, into Snowflake, but yeah, on a real-time basis, right? When we're talking about on a day-to-day, right? How does a marketer, like a digital marketer, how can we reduce the friction for you to actually manage your campaigns and be able to do a deeper dive into this analysis, right? So we over here is all LinkedIn, but this can actually extend, right? If you have and we expect that people have a multitude of different marketing sources, campaigns running in maybe LinkedIn, maybe Facebook, as well as Google Ads. This can actually all be packaged into our our workbot, right? So in this case, I have Marketing IQ bot, and really on a day-to-day basis, what I'm just getting it to do is really give me a list of my LinkedIn campaigns for now, and just tell me more about what you're doing. And other than that, actually being able to customize it even more to actually give me, give me a deeper dive into how. We just run that one more time. Yeah, do a deeper dive into, how it's performing as well. So just give it a small second, and actually see some really visual charts, right? So as comparing it to, sending this information to Google Sheets or Snowflake, which has its uses, right, for ad hoc like questions that you might have, and also integrating it with a larger data mart. But just having it on hand for like some standard metrics that you want to track on a day-to-day basis. So being able to see, let's say, impressions over time. So this is all custom, right? I've just chosen impressions over time. Being able to see the performance of individual ad creatives as well on a day-by-day basis in terms of how much each landing page click is costing me, impressions as well as total likes, and even more graphs that you can actually just put to furnish help you make your decisions as well. So things like leads per day, and this is actually a great way in terms of tracking. And going back to what you mentioned just now, Alex, about lost integrations or integrations that break. How does a digital marketer manager know when these integrations aren't flowing properly? So having these charts that actually help you keep track of them and putting them in a format that is super easy for you to just keep tabs every day. It's just a click of a few buttons to let you know that, hey, something's wrong with my integrations, or something's wrong with my campaign, that maybe someone turned it off, or the budget ran out and I need to go back in and do some remediation as well. So having these charts on hand directly from Slack or Teams as well. So other than that, right, so we talked about managing these campaigns at scale. So not only being able to view this data very easily directly from Slack, but also being able to take action. So talking about having even more buttons, so things to like start or pause the campaign as well, things to maybe change the budget. These are all really, really possible. And let me just show you guys how this is really all being powered. So on Slackbot, I mean, in a simple Workato recipe, so the one I have over here, I'm just having daily campaigns up. So on a day-to-day basis, just being able to retrieve the campaigns by status in LinkedIn. And this can also be changed. If I don't only have campaigns in LinkedIn, I have them in Facebook. Just it's a simple matter of just adding them to this recipe before sending them into Workbot, and then just formulating how I'm posting them, like which channel to post them into. Just making it a bit more pretty. So having using a block kit builder as well, and then just showcasing it, right? What information I want from these campaigns, just putting them in as well. And when someone's clicking on each of the buttons, so let's say for viewing the ad creatives, and you saw just now, right? We were talking about how this prompted a modal to pop up and basically give me more information. So just getting the campaign details in LinkedIn, just really using getting some analytics from LinkedIn as well to power my charts as well. So, to power, Workato has a host of different tools that you can use inside the recipe editor, so things to generate charts by themselves. And also, I mean, we're not stopping you to just use the charts that we provide. I'm also, for the line chart as well, I'm actually using Plotly as well. So being able to, use my own tools for chart generation as well. And then just finally uploading them and, generating that modal pop-up with all the different charts that we saw just now. Yeah, so, this was a simple recipe, and, setting this up and also setting up the ones for, let's say, starting and stopping a campaign, adjusting budget direct from Slack. This is something that's super doable. And, it follows the same format, right? When someone's actually clicking on a button in Slack Workbot, we're just going to trigger a recipe to, do the series of actions as well.
Bennett, we've got another quick question here that came through. Wondering, the question is how does Workato know how to present the data in those charts? Like, I'm guessing they're kind of asking about like what type of chart. How does Workato know which type of chart to present?
Okay. Yeah. So like a simple exercise. Like, let me just show like how charts by Workato. There are two ways, right? So in terms of whether you're using our inbuilt chart system. So let me just showcase how it looks like. Over here, basically, you just need to define like the X and Y axis, and after that, we're just gonna help you build it like immediately, right? So it's a simple thing in terms of the horizontal X-axis. I just have it set to, let's say, the day and month, and after that, the value is going to be impressions. So in this case, this is going to generate the impressions by day and month chart. And then, of course, there are other tools in the market that can help you with that as well. So things like Plotly, where all you're really doing is just sending in your X and Y axis data as well, telling it some additional information, and what the response from, in this case, I'm using Plotly, is just sending back this information in terms of a PNG. I'm uploading it into Box so that I can get a public file sharing URL so that I can, upload it as a modal in Slack Workbot. So, there are 1,000 ways to skin this, to do this, but, I've just chosen a simple way to do it, right? Get the image back from a simple open API for chart generation, uploading it to Box. This could be S3 as well. I've just like Box and using that as well. So two ways, right? We have our internal chart tools, and then you can also use anything else that's out in the market as well to generate your charts. There are a whole host of them. Yeah, Plotly is not bad.
That's amazing. Yeah, so you can either be as sophisticated or as straightforward as your needs require. That's amazing. One last question here. We've got taking a step back to the previous section as well as this one. Can we sync campaign data into the Salesforce campaign object?
Of course, yeah. So that'll be a simple exercise. Maybe I'll pick this one, right? So in this case, right, we're syncing campaign data to LinkedIn. I mean, to Google and Snowflake, but it's I picked this recipe seems like an ideal candidate for that as well. Depending, of course, on your role and whether, but basically being able to just at this point in the recipe flow, right, you actually have all the information for each campaign. You're actually getting more metadata about it, and actually being able to, just data about it, and actually being able to just slot it in with a simple update or create action over here with Salesforce for the campaign objects over there.
Great. That's great. Yeah, so I mean, just kind of wrapping up here with this section, you can see there's a ton of value that comes from being able to capture the campaign data wherever you need it. Often if you're getting questions about campaign performance, it's either in a meeting or in Slack. And so why not do the work or let the work be done for you and just do it with a few clicks, be able to capture that information in Slack and send it off very quickly, rather than the alternative, which is exporting the data or manipulating and building reports in Salesforce or wherever else that you use to capture your campaign data. Often that's a day-long, multi-day process to get the reports looking like you need them to, and you got to redo it every time you get the question again. But here you can get the reports in real time with up-to-date data and capture the information in the same place where you're receiving the question. And so you can save a lot of time, and ultimately, your life will be a lot easier, and you can make decisions and adjustments on the fly rather than a long time consuming process.